Hey guys, it's Leslie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Leslie and I'm super excited that you're here joining me today for this video. This is going to be a special one because I am literally going to give all of my mama girlies out there all of the tips and tricks that I did the day that I went into labor. So it's a list of things, but they're really good, okay? And I definitely recommend these things to any pregnant mama out there who is trying to naturally go into labor and have a positive, unmedicated, natural birth. So let's just jump right into the video. Okay, first things first, I do want to preface I am now 6 months postpartum after having my second baby. And just as a background story, my first birth, I was in labor for 25 hours. I did have to get induced at 41 weeks. I did have a vaginal birth, but I did get an epidural, so it was a medicated vaginal birth. And this was my first baby, my first ever birth. Now, I recently had my baby, my second birth, my second labor. And so I was able to have my baby naturally all on my own. So no induction. I also went fully unmedicated. And so no pain medication, no epidural, nothing like that. I also had my second baby vaginal. And third, I was only in labor for 4 hours. So it is definitely a huge flip of a coin between my first birth and my second birth. And so that's why I feel my list of everything that I did in preparation for labor really did help because I really was on it. And the facts kind of speak for itself, if you know what I'm saying. So enough yapping, let's get into the list. Okay, so in no particular order, let's go over my list in how to prep for labor, aka having a positive, natural, unmedicated birth. And of course, these worked for me. They may not work for you, but I just wanted to share my input, my feedback, and hopefully it can reach somebody who it will help. So, okay, first things first, staying hydrated is super duper crucial because when you're going into labor, you're going to be losing a lot of fluids. And so, staying hydrated is going to be super crucial for you and also for your baby, and obviously for postpartum. And sometimes just drinking plain water is not cutting it, especially while you're pregnant. And so, drinking water is good, obviously, for staying hydrated. And there's also electrolyte drinks like Body Armor, Powerade, Gatorade, all of that stuff. But there's actual mommy hydration drinks out there that you can probably find online. And one of them that really helped me was coconut water with either cranberry juice or pineapple juice. The cranberry juice and the pineapple juice is a hydrating drink, but also it works really well with coconut water if you don't really like the flavor of coconut water. And on top of that, drinking plain coconut water, if that's your cup of tea, then definitely coconut water is super hydrating with electrolytes. So, in any of those options, drink something to keep you hydrated because staying hydrated and literally doubling your hydration intake before you were pregnant is going to be super crucial, especially as you're reaching your labor. Second is staying active. I know we all hear that. One thing that I was told, and I will refer to other mamas, is if you are lazy, baby is going to be lazy. If you're not pushing your body to start doing something, your baby is not going to want to do something by themselves. And so, staying active literally could just mean walking the street, walking around the block, just doing some type of movement to your body is going to cue your baby. Okay, let's get active. Let's get out of here. Let's get this labor process going. And so for me, the day that I went into labor, I had actually went walking on the treadmill. I literally walked for 1 hour and I did 2 miles. So I did 30 minutes in 1 mile, took a pee break, and then I did another 30 minutes, another mile, and I was literally going at a speed of power walking. And so while I was walking on the treadmill, I did feel contractions. They weren't contractions where I had to pause and breathe through them. They were just minor cramps that I was feeling in my stomach. And from this feeling, I knew that I was doing something right and I had to keep going. But obviously, I went within my limits. Third is doing deep breaths. Deep breaths is really crucial because it allows you to get in a state of controlling your body. And so, what I mean by that is when you're in labor, you want to be as calm and as controlled as possible because things can get crazy, and obviously we don't want things to be getting crazy when we're in labor. And so doing these deep breaths really do help you breathe through your contractions when you're in labor. And so one reference that I was recommended through online and doing research is breathing in for 4 counts and out for 6, and just really focusing on your breath. And one thing that I have heard other women do is they'll have a speaker again when they're in labor, and they have a guided deep breathing exercises playing on the speaker for them when they are in labor in the hospital room or in the delivery room. Fourth is listening to positive affirmations and just kind of keeping that on repeat. So you can easily go online and find a positive birth affirmations and just find one that kind of sticks with you and just keep that on repeat, because when you're pregnant and when you're going in labor, you're going to want to stay positive. We do not want to get in a negative down mindset. And so staying positive really is what got me through when I was in labor and when I was having those really painful contractions. And so just allowing yourself to be surrounded by positivity and positive thoughts and positive affirmations really can push you through. So I didn't do this myself, but I have heard of other women having a speaker in their labor room, and they will play these positive affirmations on the speaker nonstop when they're in labor. And number 5 is doing stretches. And so there are a handful of stretches that are really good to do when pregnant. You can go find them online. And so these stretches are really great and optimal in opening you up and preparing your body for giving birth, because giving birth is like a marathon. You can't just sign up for it and then go run a whole marathon. You have to physically train your body and start teaching your body that you are going to go through something. And what I had did was I started doing stretches fairly early on in my pregnancy. I think I started when I was in my second trimester, and I did this so like that I can make it a habit and make it a routine of stretching out my body. And so the more pregnant I was, the more I kept doing this and the more deeper and longer I was doing these stretches. And they definitely worked when I was having contractions because my body already found this familiar, and it was great in relieving the pain that I was having during the contractions. Number 6 is creating a birth plan in which you voice to your partner or your support team, whoever is going to be with you when you're in labor, and also voicing this to whoever is going to be delivering your baby. You really want to make sure that everybody understands what you want for your labor and delivery. Sometimes in the moment, we cannot speak for ourselves. Sometimes in the moment, we are just not 100% there when things can be happening. And so when you're not in labor, you're going to want to take some time and put all of the stuff that is like best case scenario, what you want for your labor and delivery, and put it literally on a piece of paper. Print out multiple copies and make sure that you have one, your partner or your birth team has another, and then whoever is going to be delivering your baby has that third copy. And so, like that, everybody understands your wishes, your wants, your desires. And so, I did this with both of my babies, and I'm so glad that I was able to really cherish and reflect back on what I wanted for my labor and birth the second time around. And I voiced that to my husband and to my mom, which they were both my support team. And even when I was doing my OB appointments, they kept asking me what was it that I wanted. And I always voiced it to them, even to the doctor who had birthed my daughter. I let everybody knew, and I was pretty clear and strict about what I wanted. But also just keep in mind, of course, your birth plan can be the best case scenario that all of us mothers are going to want when we're in labor. But just be mindful of that there's a gray area. Just take into consideration that there is a chance of things not going the way in which you plan. And so, of course, we're going to aim for the best of the best. But if things go as not expected according to your birth plan, then at least you had a best case scenario in which you had full control of and everybody else knew about. And so if you're not sure how to make a birth plan, honestly, you can just go online. There's many resources out there in which they have templates that you can follow, or honestly, you can literally just write down whatever comes to your mind on a piece of paper. There are some templates that do have some certain wording in which you may not understand. So do not hesitate and look up what these mean, or even ask your OB, or literally you can even ask your OB for what they think should be on your birth plan. And so nobody's gonna look at you weird or funny or think that you're extra, because this is your birth. Nobody else is giving birth for your baby. And at the end of the day, that is your body and you get to choose what you want to happen with it. Number 7 is I did have a great support team in which went with me to the hospital, and all of my staff themselves, they were super duper phenomenal. But in terms of my support team that came with me to the hospital was actually my husband and my mom. And so both of them were there for my first birth, and I really wanted them to be there for my second birth. And so when it comes to having people be in the delivery room with you, make sure that it is people that you deeply and truly trust and feel who is on your side and want what's best for you and for baby. You don't want selfish people in that room. You don't want people in the room who's not going to have your best intentions in their mindset, as well as the baby's best intentions in their mindset. You're going to want to have somebody who is literally your backbone, your rock, everything, because being in labor, it can get kind of crazy, speaking from experience. And so you really are going to want the best of the best cheerleaders to be in that room with you when you're giving birth. And so for me personally, I felt that it was really great to have my husband and my mom. And I felt that it was really great to have both my husband and my mom in the labor and delivery room with me, because for speaking about my husband, it was great to have the father of my children witness the birth of our children. And also, he was really great in supporting me physically. So, whenever I needed counter pressure or to relieve some of the pain or to help me through the contractions, or literally just to refluff my pillows, reposition my pillows, hand me the water, he was really great in helping me in the physical aspect. And in terms of my mom, she was really great in helping me mentally. She was really great in using the positive words and just the positive affirmations in telling me about all the reasons why I should keep going, why I'm doing great, why I've got this, and all of those other phenomenal words of encouragement. Number 8 is doing nipple stimulation. And for me, doing nipple stimulation, personally, I found it best to do it with a pump. And so instead of doing a hand pump or an electric pump, I was actually using my Haka. And so, pretty much, if you don't know what a Haka is, it is a product in which catches let down milk from your breast. And so I had been using that. And of course, talk to your doctor about when it's best for you to start doing the nipple stimulation. But for me, I was doing it towards the very end of my pregnancy. And so I would use the Haka, and leading up to me being 40 weeks and already past 40 weeks, I was using the Haka about every day for 15 minutes on each breast. And so as the days progressed, I had ended up bumping it up to doing it twice a day, 15 minutes each breast. So literally, I would just have it on while I was washing the dishes or while I was eating, just so like that it doesn't feel like an inconvenience, and you just have your mind off of it. And so like that, I felt if I was focused on it and I was paying attention to it, then my mental state was going to affect the amount of milk that was going to come out, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's like logically proven or anything like that, but that's just how I felt about it. And so when I was distracted, it wasn't even on my mind that I had the Haka on. And so if I just have my mind off of it, then I won't be disappointed or surprised about the milk that was going to be coming out from my breast. And so the reason why I used the Haka this time around for nipple stimulation is because last pregnancy, I had used a manual pump, and I felt like the manual pump was way too strong for me to be using while still pregnant. And so this time around, I just wanted to take it a little bit easier and not really like get myself all scared about it while I was still pregnant. Number nine is I actually got a membrane sweep twice, and I truly feel that the second time that I got it really did trigger my labor. And just as preface, I did get a membrane sweep with my first pregnancy and it did not work. And that's why I had to get induced. And last time I only got the membrane sweep once. This time I got the membrane sweep twice because I was really trying to not get induced. And thankfully I didn't. And so that's why I feel that the membrane sweep did something because the first time I got it, I was 39 weeks and that triggered for my mucus plug to come out. And so it did do something, but it didn't necessarily kickstart my labor. And the second time that I got a membrane sweep, it was the same day that I went into labor. And so after getting the membrane sweep, I really did start feeling the cramps and just that discomfort in my stomach. And so that was literally how I started that whole day was going to my 40-week appointment, getting the membrane sweep, getting my cervix check. And then from there, that's when I started doing X, Y, and Z after that. And once it hit the nighttime, I was in real labor and I was getting real contractions. And then 4 hours later, I had my daughter. So the membrane sweep can work, it cannot work. Literally, it just depends. Like it's a 50-50. And not gonna lie, I was not having very high hopes for the membrane sweep just because I got it with my firstborn and I was kind of thinking negative with it, but I was still like in the mindset of let me at least try this because I really don't want to get induced. And so after getting the first membrane sweep, I was like, "Ugh, you know what? Maybe just my body and my babies don't really like the membrane sweep and it won't kickstart labor." But after getting it the second time, I was like, okay, if this isn't going to work, then I know I'm going to have to get induced. But because it did work, now I can say, okay, pretty freaking awesome that the membrane sweep did something. And that was that whole just membrane sweep was that little pin of the women that do kickstart labor off of a membrane sweep. And so again, talk to your doctor about when it's best for you to get a membrane sweep. Sometimes it can work, sometimes it cannot, like I'm saying. And speaking for myself, I'm the same body. So I don't know if it was just like the babies and the births themselves that made it didn't work and then did work. So I don't really know. I'm just telling y'all my experience, okay? So take it as you will. Number 10 is taking a warm shower or a warm bath. Taking warm showers and baths helps your body get relaxed and is going to soothe all your muscles and all the pains and just your whole body in general. And so the warm water does do something to your body. And so for me personally, when I wasn't taking a bath, I was taking warm showers and I would make sure that it wasn't boiling hot, but it was nice to have the warm water, especially on my back, just because I was having a lot of back pains my second pregnancy. And so the warm water felt really nice and just soothing my back pains. But when I was doing warm baths, I would do them for about 15 to 20 minutes because we also want to take into consideration it's not the best to take so many frequent long baths while we're pregnant. And you can just look up the information or even speak to your OB as to um, the cons that can be with taking that kinds of baths. But for the times that I was taking baths, it was be once a week. And as I mentioned, about 15 to 20 minutes. And just soaking in the baths would soothe me. But at the same time, I would start to feel my daughter kicking in my stomach and not in a way where it was unbearable. It was just, she was doing little love taps, as I like to call it. And also, too, I did not do this myself because my hospital did not offer it. But when you are actually in labor and having those contractions, I have seen other women from online that they would take warm baths, warm showers, and that would actually help relieve some of that pain they were having during their contractions. So, again, depending on where you're giving birth, don't hesitate and ask about if you can take a warm bath or a warm shower while you're in labor, because I've heard that it helps a lot of women, and so maybe it can help you too. I don't know. Number 11 is having a yoga ball. You can literally find a yoga ball, Walmart, Target, Amazon, anywhere. And so I really do feel that a yoga ball really helped me, because same thing. I was using this early on in my pregnancy, and I would just make it a habit to use my yoga ball instead of just sitting on the couch. I would sit on my yoga ball, and there are specific stretches that you can do that you can find online, that are for while you're pregnant and to help you for your labor. Okay, well, that is going to be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to support me on my journey here. And I really do hope that this reaches the right audience and it really does help a pregnant mama out there who is about to go in labor and is hoping for a positive, natural, unmedicated birth. Also, if you're a pregnant mama who is about to go in labor, then please let me know if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, any of that in the comment section down below. And also, if you like my content and if you want to see more of my content, then you can go ahead and follow me on all the other social media platforms. My username is lesliedelaylah on all social media platforms. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.